Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our very first Arthritis Foundation Carolina's Coffee Break. My name is Stephanie Blazik. I know I got the chance to go live with y'all on Tuesday, but if you weren't able to look at that, I am the Carolinas Community Engagement Director. And this week we will continue to talk about the Live Yes Arthritis Network and all of the ways you can connect to others with arthritis when you're both in and out of quarantine. Today, I want to introduce another one of our network leaders, Melita Quick. Melita has RA and has volunteered with the foundation in many, many ways over the years to provide the same help and support to others with arthritis that she was actually seeking herself. So thank you for chatting with us this morning, Melita. Before we get started, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your journey with arthritis and what brought you to be such a huge help to the Arthritis Foundation and all of our families.
Well, hello. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you? Thank you for having me. Um, so my journey with arthritis as arthritis warrior began when I was 25, and it began with just having some complications that I didn't really know was associated with arthritis. So one day I got ready to wake up and I couldn't move anything. I pretty much could talk and blink my eyes, but it was like a paralyzing type situation. And so I was taken to the hospital. And as I was taken to the hospital, the doctors didn't know what was going on. They pretty much said it could be, one of three things. It could be MS, multiple sclerosis, it could be rheumatoid arthritis, or it could be lupus. And so, of course, being a 25-year-old, fairly healthy person, had never heard of, a lot of that, or if I had heard of it, didn't really know what it really meant. Arthritis, I just thought of as something that, as they all say, older people get. So I ended up being referred to a rheumatologist, and the rheumatologist, basically through tests and me explaining, describing what I was going through, um, there was four words that changed my life forever. The whole trajectory of it just changed my life. And it was, you have rheumatoid arthritis. And so from that point, coming from being a 25-year-old healthy person to now being diagnosed with this, I was um, very much in denial, and wasn't really sure about what was going on. So I pretty much was living life as such. As time progressed, the disease, I had a severe form of RA, and I have, so we were trying to find out different combinations of drugs and different medications and things that we could do to kind of stabilize me. And so we finally thought we figured some things out. But I was still in this whole denial type situation. Then it started turning to anger and things. So fast forward, I'll say maybe 10, 15 years later, and I was had finished my master's and was in school trying to get my PhD. And during that time, I noticed that I was getting progressively worse. And I had pretty much got to the end where all I had to do was finish my dissertation, and I would have graduated. And in that process, life took a different turn, and I had to have surgery. And what turned out to be just a temporary situation turned into be a permanent disability situation. And so also dealing with my mom being diagnosed with cancer and things like that. So I ended up having to stop that process of my life in order to deal with this new life that I had for a while, but it was starting to take a whole different toll on my body with certain things. And so fast forward to now, it's now it's of course it's aggressive, as before it was. It definitely has gotten worse. But I had got to a point where I was like a couple of years ago just kind of saying, I'm tired of wallowing, I'm tired of being depressed. And so, I wanted to take action and do something. Hence kind of how I got involved with the foundation.
Wow. And that's every time I hear your story, I mean, I can't even imagine. And, a lot of times we talk, just about the physical side of things, but you had a whole plan for your life that changed in a blink of the eye. What was,
Yeah.
I mean, the emotional toll is
Yeah.
just, and crazy. So from the time you got diagnosed to the time you started, um, finding ways to get involved with the Arthritis Foundation, like, was that immediate, or was there a little bit of time you took to kind of wrap your head around things? What did that process look like?
From the time of diagnosis, yes, it was a long time because I was diagnosed at 25, and so I didn't get involved with the foundation until just a couple of years ago. So that whole process was just first being just really angry, because I was 25 and I'm like, what is this? To not taking it seriously, like, okay, whatever. I was in denial, and to, you know, um, being depressed, severe depression, because at this point, and I had finished school. So I'm like, okay, at the time I had finished my master's degree, going into a PhD where you thinking that you have this, like you say, you have a career, you have these goals in mind of what you wanted to do, but this condition says something else. And no matter how much you want to try to control it, you can't. It's like it has this control over you because because mine was more of a severe form, we were trying to figure out how to stabilize me. And so when I got to the point of um it had started getting really aggressive with the deformities that started happening, because the deformities started happening in my hands fairly quickly. Probably within a couple of years of diagnosis, I started noticing little things in my joints within my hands. But as far as the surgeries and things were going, that was happening, as time progressed. So it wasn't until probably 3-4 years ago when I finally got to the point when I was like, enough is enough. Like, enough is enough. I really need to do something about this and not be angry about it and depressed about it. And I think the depression really started setting in when I realized that at 30 something years old, I have to now be on total permanent disability. And that was not the course of my life. So it was more so just maybe 3-4 years ago when I finally said, okay, let's take some action and do something.
Wow. I mean, was there like a moment, because that's a long time in between where
Yeah.
you like decided to flip the script. So was there like a defining moment where you're like, I need to change the path and be involved and do something?
Yeah, it was the moment. So it's the moment started when I fought being on disability. When I found that I would have to go, I was fighting the doctors, I was fighting everybody about it. And so when I first got my first denial letter, I was like, yay. But most people are like mad because they got denial letters. And I'm like, yes, I'm glad, because I never wanted to be on disability. So when I finally got approved, I was like, what? And so in the course of that, that's when I first started saying, after I got past the whole depression situation, I started kind of saying, okay. And it was this moment where this is what it is. Like, okay, Melita, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't continue life for years being upset about something that this is what, and I do believe in God. So this was something that I was like, well, if this is what the Lord has presented to me, I have to be the one to show people that mountains can be moved. Like, so if this is what it's going to be, let me turn this around to be positive and not be so negative. And so when I realized that this was pretty much what it was, and when I realized that I definitely wasn't going to be able to go back to work according to the doctors, that's what started me to change and say, okay, let me do something different. And then in the course of that, my mom passed with cancer, and she had been, very supportive of me of what was going on. And so I just started thinking about life as with her, and things, conversations we had, and I knew that she would want something different too. She would want me to start taking action, turning this, what some people will look at as a negative, into a positive, and do something more about it. And so at that moment when I realized, this may be my life, this may be what I have to do, I said, okay, well, let me turn this around and do something different.
Wow. So I've known you for a year now, and since the very beginning, I'm like, this girl is like the most positive, the smartest, like amazing person.
Thank you.
And but it still blows my mind to even think that you are like the rest of us and could start in a really dark place. Um,
I was.
so I know all of the ways that you're involved with the foundation now, but what was the first step? What was the first thing that you did to kind of make that change?
So when I decided to make the change, I said, okay, so where do I begin? And in my mind, I thought beginning meant join a support group. I didn't know. I mean, only because when I was 25 and I was looking for one, I couldn't really find one that would be to me what I thought would be beneficial for my life. Because I'm 25 and RA at 25 looks different than RA at 70. So I was like, okay, so what can I do? So I kind of started Googling and be on the internet, and I came across an organization called Arthritis Introspective, and they were having a conference actually. And so I was like, what is this about? So I kind of read a little bit about that and attended that conference, and that was kind of what got me started. And then from there, I started looking into the foundation. But later on, when it became one, it worked out great because I was already kind of looking at the foundation and seeing kind of what the foundation was and how it could benefit me. But in the course of that, that's when I came across introspective, and that's when I first got involved. Was I went to one of their conferences.
Wow, it must have made like quite an impact. Is that the most impactful memory that you have of being involved, or is there a different memory? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the most impactful, that was the first one. I mean, so many. But that was it. The first conference I went to, I had no idea what I was getting into. I just was kind of going because, like I said, I had got, kind of this, let's do something, let's take action, let me see what I can do, to um continue to take this journey more positive. And when I went to the conference, I was a ball of emotion the whole week. I mean, whole weekend just crying. Cause I mean, when I walked into this and realized that there were so many people that was like me, like I didn't have to pretend when I'm getting up that I'm hurting. Like I don't have to try to pretend that it doesn't hurt or try to move a little bit faster with family and friends because I didn't want, to be slowing the group down and things like that. So, or trying to talk but cover my hands up because I didn't want nobody to see the deformities in my hands. And so all of these things I didn't have to do. I was at the conference and everyone looks like me and we're all, because I'm thinking no one wants to hear your story. Nobody wants to hear about all of that. So, but people did want to hear it. And in one of the sessions, we were supposed to talk about our story. So each person went around the table and did that. And I told mine. And after that particular session was over, an older lady came to me and she said, I really was inspired by your story. She said, and I just want to say that, thank you. She was like, and I want to give you something. She had this little quilt. Actually, I have it right here on the thing. I keep it everywhere, but this little quilt is about this big. And she quilted it and put a cross in it. And so on the back of it, it talks about just anytime that you're coming across this cross and your fingers touch it, just remember that, God's got you and his grace is gonna, continue to take you forward and that someone is praying for you. It's not verbatim what it says, but basically what it says. And I just started crying. And so because of that, it's like that moment was like so impactful for me, and at that point I knew that I definitely have to continue to go to every conference that I could, to do what I needed to do to stay involved, because there are people like her, who were older and heard my story. And I'm like, why would she be moved by my story? And enough to where she would felt like she wanted to give me this. And so I would like be forever grateful for that and always remember that. And just remember the experience that I had at that Farrell's conference, being able to express myself and be open and know that, no one was judging me. I didn't feel judged. I felt like I was amongst people that understood what I was going through.
I love that you had that one person that made such a huge impact. I wonder if she even knows what her like kindness and that small moment did for like the course of the rest of, up until this point. And I know that because of her and the place that she helped you get to, that you've helped so many people get to a more positive place too, and we're so blessed to have you as our network leader and previously as a facilitator. For those people that are on live and don't know what any of that means, Melita started a Connect group, one of the very first ones before Arthritis Introspective and Arthritis Foundation kind of teamed up, merged, and facilitated what we call a Connect group. It's like a support group, but more like a coffee talk. It's less kumbaya and more just, supporting one another. So Melita, can you talk about, how you decided to end up being a facilitator and supporting others, and then how that evolved into what you do now?
Sure. So when I was first, like you said, involved with the Authorized Introspective, they already have facilitators at different places, but we didn't have, when I first got involved, we didn't have any in North Carolina at all. And so had been thinking about it, but I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So went to one of the conferences, and there were some facilitators there. And so we were talking about the process, and it was like, it's really, nice, it's beneficial, and it's helping a lot of people, you should think about it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll see about this. And I started thinking about the fact that, well, you were going back to my mind saying, remember, you said you wanted to do something different. You said enough was enough, you wanted to take action. So this is a way you can do it. Yeah, you went to the conferences, okay, but you can do something even more. And I said, I do, because what I wanted to do as a facilitator was to help people understand that they can navigate this, and that I wanted to help people not be able to go through what I went through when I first was diagnosed, which is the scaredness, not knowing, not being able to talk to anyone about it, because nobody, unless you're going through it, you don't truly understand. But there are people that are supportive, and that's awesome to have them, have those people that are extremely supportive of you. But I wanted to be able to help others in that journey. And so I made the decision to become a facilitator, and it was great. I mean, we've had great conversations within that, in those meetings, and they were, like you said, it kind of was starting off as just, we sitting around and you're kind of talking, but I never wanted it to be the whole, woe is me, type thing. I wanted it to be that if you needed it, if you wanted to do that, that's fine, but also let's have fun, because we want to be able to, one of the, of course, the main objective would be to find a cure, of course, but we want to be able to say, hey, let's live our best lives. And we can do that even if you are diagnosed with arthritis, and this is how we're going to do it, and we're not going to, keep ourselves down. We're going to educate ourselves about this disease, and we're going to do what we can to educate others, but we also want to have fun. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. And so that's kind of how I got into that role as facilitator. And then later on, recognizing that I wanted to be part of the answer to this, and be able to help grow the foundation and grow this network that we have here. And I know through being network leader, I will be able to do that, is being able to help grow it, by getting other people involved, helping support the facilitators in any kind of way that looks to them, helping them to grow their meetings and things like that. So it was just something that I was really passionate about, and I was like, I really want to do this.
Awesome. So, because you've been at this for a little while now, for people that are new to the foundation, or newly diagnosed, or have been diagnosed for a while and are ready to make that change like you did, and they want to get involved, how do they start? What do they do?
Well, there's so many things you could do. I guess it depends on what what getting involved looks like for you. Like it looks like different things for different people. But you can always go to your local Authorized Foundation office and talk with them about what they're doing in the community to find out how you can get involved with that. Clearly, you can go to www.authoritis.org, and there's a plethora of things on there, from the online community that we have, which is you being able to go on there and go on the board to ask questions, answer questions, things like that. Even volunteering as being, I think, moderator, if you would like, to doing what I'm doing as far as being a part of the Live Yes Connect meetings, becoming a facilitator. And maybe in your community, maybe there's someone, or yourself, that you might say, hey, I want to be a part of this. You can also fundraise. Maybe your involvement involves fundraising. You want to be a part of the Walk the Cure Arthritis or the Jingle Bell Run, or it may be looking like advocacy work for you. Maybe you say, I want to help make government policies and go up there and make changes to that, and by doing that I want to be an advocate. So it depends on what your involvement looks like and what you personally want to do, but there's so many different ways that you can do that. And you can start definitely by getting on the website and kind of looking at what they have and see what that looks like for you, or going to your local office and seeing, because they also have the JA days, they have the Live Yes RA, events. They have so many things, ways you can get involved. So we would love to have you come aboard. So I hope that there's people out there that are saying, yes, I want to, be a part of this, be a part of the answer, be a part of finding this cure. And this is what volunteering, or this is what getting involved looks like for me. And, I want to do it on this level or in this aspect or whatever, or maybe you want to do it in all aspects, whatever. But whatever that is, I really hope that people come on board. This is a awesome foundation that has been helping people for years, and it's continuing to grow. And every time I go to a conference, I leave there like excited and about what's to come, for the new year. And so I would say, come on board. We would love to have you.
Awesome. Gosh, Melita, I wish we could clone you. You've been involved in all of these things, so you know exactly how to get involved. So
Yeah.
for those people that want to take the next step, I know we're a little bit over time, so I don't know that we can take questions right now, but drop your questions in the chat box, and somebody from our office, because we're all, we're working virtually to keep everyone safe. But we can answer all of those questions, and we can get you plugged in, and we can hook you up with Melita if you want to be a facilitator, or any of our other key volunteers who help lead things like advocacy, or our JA, our walks, our runs, all of that. Now is the time. So drop your questions below, and we will let you guys go enjoy the rest of your cup of coffee.
We do have one question in the chat box for Melita specifically, if we have just a minute or two left to answer that. Emily Beasley asks, are you, Melita, involved in any of the advocacy work that the AF does? So anything you want to share about that?
So I am an arthritis advocate, but you can also be an ambassador if that's something that you're interested in. But to answer your question, yes, I am an arthritis advocate.
Awesome. And so what that kind of looks like right now, we're fighting things like step therapy, with this whole COVID thing going on, and drug shortages, there's a lot of conversation around that as well. So if that's something that you're passionate about and you want to get involved with, send me a comment and we'll get you signed up, and then you will get something called an action alert to your email every time there's an opportunity to, go to the Capitol and talk to your representatives, or do something as simple as, write a letter, because we just flood them with letters like Harry Potter, and they won't be able to ignore us. Right. Any other questions, Erica? Awesome. Okay. So we will go ahead and sign off for now. If you didn't catch us live, we'll be monitoring this chat box for, ever. So feel free to drop those in whenever. And thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Melita.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited, and hopefully people are going to come on board.